I'm tuning in because I'm hearing about you, not about the topics. Now, the topic is you, right? That's what I'm trying to say. It can be anything. So I think the listener, it doesn't have to be what the listener wants to hear as much as it can be the listener just wanting to tune in to hear us.
Well, I think you guys need to really find some hosts that are likable and that people would want to tune into. Because
have you heard you?
I'm sorry.
I'm fantastic. I'm the guest star.
Yeah, there you go. There
It
you
would
go.
make a difference. From Indianapolis, Indiana, this is Truth Lake.
So the piece that I've been thinking about, I agree with you in the people want to tune into what the public conversation is. I also think trending is a unreliable North Star because a lot of people are going to be introduced to us later, and having something that's more evergreen seems like that would be valuable in the long run.
Yeah.
What I'm wondering is what's to keep us from using the trend to move the conversation into something more substantial, whether it's relationship or ambition or finance or something.
You're talking about use the trend to inspire what the topic could be.
Yeah, whatever the current conversation is. Like if I were, like all into seminary, it'd be let's take it back to a principle or a fundamental that we're discussing with this current topic.
Yeah. Well,
and then that would give us an opportunity to speak.
That's what I was thinking with this episode. At least the way that I wrote the outline for it was that we would, so placeholder title, audacious goals. How do you make big things happen? The jumping off point is that, in elections, these guys are talking about making these promises that are completely unrealistic and they'll never achieve them, but maybe there's something to that. And so let's talk about your float center and how you made something really big happen by essentially ignoring reality.
Absolutely.
Maybe even for 10 years.
Oh God, I miss that.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
And I'm terrified to have that
Of course
conversation.
you are. Well, I would be
because
too.
I've never been able to have it without the context of I need to manage the relationship that I'm having this conversation with.
Yeah.
So it is only on a certain direction or
now we're talking.
Yeah.
But that's what I think it should be all the time.
I do too.
Or Michael's impotency.
And I do think that but I do think that is going to quite often, dance around politics.
Oh,
there's always going to be an element of it.
So that's a great story about, city overreach or whatever, right? Like that was a huge crippling effect on so many people. So to your point, I think we can do that. I don't think our focus is on getting towards that more universal topic. And maybe that would help bridge and meet all the needs we're talking about so far.
When I went back, so I listened to us last week, and then I went back and I listened to Andrew. We posed a question to Andrew about politics, and if you go back and listen,
He deferred.
Yeah, he wanted no part of it.
Yeah, because he's terrified.
I don't know if he's terrified or if he just doesn't care.
Worth it.
Or uncomfortable or
it's
doesn't
not,
care.
It's not worth it.
Or that too.
It's a luxury.
All the above.
Unless you're playing, it's a luxury. It's just celebrity gossip, but for people who like conspiracies.
I would say that,
unless you're involved. I'm sorry.
I don't know what involved in. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, you've been involved in local.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So you've been in that world, and that's somebody who does have a stake.
So I would say that the thing, and I admitted this publicly today at a workshop that I was facilitating.
Is that why you're dressed up?
Yeah, a little. Yeah,
you're dressed up.
Yeah, I facilitated a board retreat for an organization today that is lovely and wonderful and all that. I would say I'm afraid to talk about my real thoughts of the last 10, 15 years of nonprofit and DEI. And I was, and you can't put this on there, but I was managing a grant that was the huge, multi-million, $47 million with over 5 years with all these grant partners to help farmers and small business owners get new equipment that Trump cut. That being said, like the immediate reaction I had was, awful, blah, blah, blah. And then as the person who's involved with all of the invoicing compliance and making sure the receipts are valid, we're talking so much money is wasted on the technical assistance providers. Now, with a lot of federal grants, there's money for technical assistance consultants to work with the grantee to understand complexities.
A middleman.
If you are a scientific researcher and you're getting a grant, it makes a lot of sense. If you're a farmer who is buying equipment that's to be updated, you don't need a TA provider to teach you about equipment. You need a coach to help you understand the invoicing process, which I'm doing. And so all of these grant partners got their panties in a bunch because they had negotiated 33% of indirect costs with the government. And now they're only getting 10, which means all of their technical assistance providers have to shrink. Now, that is a lot of people. It's a lot of jobs. It is not those people's fault that that's their job.
There's an economy behind all of this that has been propping us up for a long time.
And that's very easy for, like, frankly, well-off, white, privileged people to say, but there's no off-ramp. Like,
oh, by the way, I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah. So
I'm not saying we shouldn't. I think we have to. It looks like.
And
you're afraid to talk about this stuff.
And what's that?
You're saying you're afraid to talk about this stuff because
this piece of it, so we're winding it down, and it is hard to talk about these things because on the left, we don't want a dose of reality. And especially in nonprofit space, we don't want that dose of reality that nonprofits forever have functioned like, I don't know. It reminds me of the beginning
essentially not having to be lean or efficient.
Right. Yeah. Not acting like a corporation, which we love and appreciate because I think that corporate rules are a little aggressive and cutthroat, and that's what they're supposed to be because it's whatever. But it reminds me of the beginning of Ghostbusters where he says, "You've never worked in the private sector. They expect results."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I think that nonprofits are having to evaluate their effectiveness.
Yeah.
And their efficiency. And
Do
that's,
you think they should or shouldn't?
I think they should.
Yeah, me too.
I think that they also receive no training, that nonprofits do not operate efficiently because they don't hire corporate people who don't want the jobs at half the pay or a third of the pay.
It attracts a certain personality.
Right. It attracts the personality of someone like me that I'm very good at operational efficiencies and strategies. And I also need a lot of alone time.
Here's the problem.
And I need a lot of time off. I'm not working 40 hours a week if I don't have to.
Yeah.
Here's the problem or I think you're pointing to this problem is that you feel uncomfortable talking about that and you won't because you don't want to jeopardize your work.
This part of, yeah, absolutely. I'm willing to talk about this piece right here. There is a lack of, I guess, reality. Like, I feel like for a while in nonprofit, it was if a certain demographic or a certain ethnic group or if a certain type of person were to make a claim about anything, it's racism, it's sexism, it's harassment, that those folks were never questioned.
Yeah.
As to the audacity of their claims,
because it's discriminating if you do that.
It's discriminating if you like. My job as a gay white cisgender man was to listen to all of the power and privilege that I have, which I guess I got when gay marriage passed because I never felt it.
You've had your turn as the
you've had your turn.
Right?
Sit down. Shut up. And
do you think we're too woke?
Do I think I'm?
No, not you. We. Do you think we as a society or a community that we're too woke?
So the word woke, I think, is very problematic. So
Okay.
is the word problematic.
Yeah.
I don't think
use the right word then. Whatever word, you know what I'm driving at. So use the word that means more to you.
I think that well-intentioned white liberal folks
You can say females.
No, I'm not going to. I know a lot of well-intentioned white
Males.
males.
Yeah. We are.
Liberal, they are very good at appropriating rage and appropriating this idea that they need to be the savior of the folks. So
White knights, as it were.
white knights, we have a lot of people who put their appropriate the offense that the person who should be offended should be feeling, and
it
most of the
often
time
isn't.
they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I remember during 2020, I joined a group that a friend of mine said.
The Klan. I'm kidding.
No, a friend.
The friend was in the Klan.
This guy
This
that I admired said, "Hey, there's a lot of talk about racial issues going on right now, and I wonder if some people would be willing to join basically a book club." Except for we're not going to read books, we're going to read articles.
Book club for white guilt.
To discuss these topics. And I was expecting it to be a discussion, which means that there's differing points of view, all with the goal of arriving at some sort of better point of view, but, better perspective because you've, had the discussion and talked with other people. And what ended up happening is the group was largely made up of people who just talked about, like this family had a black kid that was adopted, and they talked about how he gets looked at differently. Okay, great. That's great information. So let's talk about what we do about it, right? Or how should we understand those situations? And is there some kind of reaction we should have? And there was one point where I was trying to make a point about the crime that correlates with poverty, and the poverty that correlates with black neighborhoods, right? So, and then this guy said, no, I would say that it's over policing, and he started shredding me, and he was, trying to tear down the whole idea.
Those are the
and
words
I said, but you can't totally explain away that crime and poverty are correlated as just over policing. That's always been consistently found to correlate, and there's maybe lots of things that we can dive in to understand that better.
We also know what happens when you underpolice.
Yeah, and that hadn't happened yet.
It has many places around the world, right, and very consistently, just not there yet.
Yeah, and so it was just it just became this ridiculous dismissing the logic of the situation, because he had to be right about this woke idea, or whatever you want to call it.
Well,
a deflection.
Here's the reality. Nobody knows what to do.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what to do.
All throughout human history.
Nobody knows how to solve this issue. So instead, we're going to rage over policing versus under policing versus poverty and crime and all of that. And no one ever wants to hear that about generational trauma on the right. And nobody on the left ever wants to hear that people are responsible for their own decisions.
Well, and there are such thing as career criminals. There is such thing as evil. Although criminal and evil aren't always the same thing.
I would debate that. But.
I would totally debate that, because I think there's not a lot of options to go working at McDonald's doesn't even pay you enough to raise a family, to get an apartment if you're a single.
Agreed.
So unless you're working 100 hours a week, I think if we're talking about our society, we have to make it so that you can work a full-time job and afford to have a family.
And I think that's what all the government fluff was attempting. We have made so many jobs. There's so many economies, healthcare being one, or health insurance. I'm sorry, not necessarily healthcare. That's where all these trillions at this point are going to, probably good places too, but also to where you're talking about all these in the middle, in the way people that if every one of them were unemployed, our economy would look like a disaster.
But the reality is we don't need every single American working as much as we're working to survive. We have to figure out a way.
I don't think everybody should have a job. I agree.
But they also don't deserve to starve or live in a crack house if they don't
that is
meet that level of productivity.
But they can.
Sure they can.
They can. And I don't think a full-time job at McDonald's means you're supposed to support a family either. I think a full-time job
that's an apartment with roommates.
I'm not even sure it's an apartment. I think it's money to get you through. But if you want to talk about reality, I think common sense has to weigh in at some point in time. And the common sense to me would be if I'm working at McDonald's and I'm making whatever I'm making, I'm pretty sure, common sense, that I'm not going to be able to raise a family or support a family on that income.
Unless
right?
you're management.
Okay.
Management does pretty well.
All right. But we're okay. Fine. Management. But I'm referring to the hourly person at McDonald's or Kentucky Fried Chicken or Burger King. I'm not being prejudiced by any of them.
These
right?
are not sponsors.
Right. They're not sponsors.
Right.
But what I am saying is at some point in time, individuals have to use their noggin. They have to be smart. They have to think. They have to have some type of thought process in terms of, if I'm going to do this, these are going to be the consequences. So if I am going to work at McDonald's and I think I can raise a family on that, then someone needs to sit down and have a conversation with me.
But
my friends included.
I think that what it sounds like you're overlooking is that there are circumstances where there isn't a better option for
that may be true, but you can't raise a family on that
Right.
either. That's the equivalent of saying
those are both true.
And
that's
you
the
also
equivalent
can't have an
of
abortion if you get somebody pregnant or you get pregnant yourself. So then you have to raise a family.
now
Right.
Oh,
and then you go out and do it
okay.
again and again and again because you're in love.
That-
but
Well,
that's what I mean about
and
the
that
common
still
sense.
dismisses the personal responsibility,
Exactly.
which is in question of
Right.
both what's the personal, what's
Right.
our social
Right.
responsibility.
And also one thing that some people don't always accept is that you don't know what you don't know. You can't just know how to
Correct.
solve that problem in your life. Like, I applied for college and was told I needed transcripts and therefore I can't go to college. And I just accepted that because I did not know. So I never went to college.
Whereas
And
I
by the
snuck
time
into
I actually-
college.
You didn't, Aaron didn't even know that people brush their teeth twice a day.
Yeah, you didn't have anyone
not what I
championing for you, or you didn't have a champion beside you to help you
right.
overcome that hurdle. right?
Nobody was
Right.
correcting that error, and I had no clue what the alternative was.
Can I add to that and something that I learned a little bit later? So high school dropout, very smart, read all the time, just wasn't figuring it out, didn't enjoy school, ended up going to the worst high school in Oregon, I later learned.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, good luck with me. So dropped out of high school. I'm 19. I'm working flipping burgers. I've got 2 roommates. I'm probably smoking a lot of weed. Life is not going anywhere.
That sounds amazing.
Hang on though, it kind of was, but you get stuck in, especially when I got a job as a server at that restaurant, you get stuck in that cash late night loop, and nobody survives that. A friend of mine convinced me to go to the local community college to get a year of transcripts and then to go to a university because you could just do that. And so I did. And I lied and said I graduated high school. Once I went to college and suddenly was exposed to people who not only had access to things, but whose job it was to help get me access to other people, especially, my life completely changed. I mean, it was magical because I had no idea what to do. I had no idea who to talk to, and I didn't know anybody smart enough to help. So but I also am of the, no, you don't get to raise a family working at McDonald's unless you get into management.
Well, so for me,
These are, by the way, we're really qualified to have this conversation, aren't we? 4 dudes that have never ever been in that position, although maybe a little bit,
absolutely,
maybe a little bit,
Dude, I
maybe a
dip
little
in
bit.
and out of,
I
dip
about
in
ready
and
to
out
drop
of working
I mean,
class every decade or so.
Oh my god!
I mean, I'm one generation out of pole white trash.
Okay.
And
I was the 3rd generation to not graduate high school.
I mean, you want to talk about vulnerability? I grew up in a 900 square foot house. There, I lived with my grandparents, my aunt and her child, and my mom.
That's too many.
And that was 6 of us in a house that was the size of my living room.
Chris, this explains everything.
Right?
It does.
And
The gratitude for sure.
and I, went to college and never like went back.
Back when it meant something.
Yeah. So in my first job out of when I left the church, because I'm gay and had to leave the church, my first job was working at the Julian Center, and I was working.
Was Julian gay as well?
Julian was not gay, but I came out.
But he was really
He was
really
gay.
tidy. He was very
very
tidy
homosexual.
and very neat.
The best of all.
And it was a Center for Domestic and Sexual Violence, people who'd experienced those things. And I was working with the police department, going on scene to do immediate intervention with folks who experience violence. And when folks, when that sort of like generational trauma, when generational abuse is part of your life, you're going from crisis to crisis to crisis, even if it's largely self-induced.
Sometimes you're just hungry.
And in those situations, for God's sakes, you just want to have sex. You just want to fuck some people.
What?
When you're in this dramatic lifestyle, you gotta at least have sex. That's
I
why
see
they're having
what
all
you're
these babies.
Yeah, that's a good part.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's exciting.
See that? Yeah. I would say that there is a lot of not long-term thinking when you are in a trauma. Like when you are going through trauma and going from crisis to crisis, you're not thinking about what does it take to raise a family. You're dragging your kids around to try to find somebody to watch them so that you can go work anywhere that you can make money, and that could be legal, it could be extra legal.
And you can't keep a job because of all the chaos and crises.
Yeah, I mean, there's the flat tire theory. There's the one flat tire could cause you to go bankrupt if you're in a certain economic bracket, because the late tire means you're late to work, and if you're late to work, then you're going to get fired, and if you get fired, then you lose these things.
If you don't believe in free will, that person is now stuck in a behavior context loop that an act of God would have to get them out of.
And it is and I really say it is for the grace of God that I got out and did not go and be part of the family trauma that they were still involved in. They're largely mostly dead now, so they ain't bothering anybody with their bullshit.
They're done.
They're done. So,
well, that was pretty interesting.
Can I also talk about SNAP benefits? Because there's one part of the story about SNAP benefits that I feel like no one understands, that it has never been part of the SNAP program. And I was, when I was a foster parent, the first time we were foster parents, we had SNAP benefits for the kids. And I'm like, well, shoot, yeah, it's $300 a week for groceries.
Sounds amazing.
Sounds amazing until I decided to not do it anymore, because there were so many damn hoops to jump through. You have to take the kids, and we have 3 kids that were all under the age of 5. You have to take them and sit in the waiting room at the WIC office, where there are very few working lights and games and things to do. So you've got to bring all that stuff with you. They have to examine them. You've got to keep them calm in this cluttered office space.
So you have a part-time job just to
get your SNAP benefits. Yeah. Then you've got to listen to the lectures about
you have to not be working in order to do this.
Right. And then you can only buy certain things. You did get to a point where you could ring up your entire order, and then they would scan it, and just the SNAP stuff came off of it, the WIC stuff. But it just got to the point where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. This is so demeaning, demoralizing, and I want to rip out the little bit of hair that I had sitting in this office for hours with these kids to try to keep them calm when they're little kids and they want to run around and be crazy. They're very, it's very uncomfortable. Like, they make it very, like, if your kids are acting up, they give you dirty looks, get your kids under control, that kind of stuff. So
how long did you do it?
All of 6 months.
Oh,
yeah.
So
that sounds exhausting.
And then we're having all of these like judgmental discussions about,
the day that I stopped being poor had nothing to do with money. It was, when I turned 18, I was kind of, somebody gave me a chance and I got a job, and it was a good job, and it started out really low and eventually paid well. But the but even when I was making more money later in my tenure there, I had no money. It was gone at the end of the month, every month. I never had enough, and I struggled nonstop. And so one day I went to a clinic to give plasma or sell plasma, and I was like, telling the wife, I was like, we should be able to get a few bucks for this, and then we can pay that one thing, and then maybe we can do this and pay that other thing. So I go to the plasma clinic, and then I see all of these people that I did not want to associate myself with. I did not want to identify as one of those people.
Right.
It's not us.
They were homeless people, which
but
to those who don't
them.
understand, that's also known as an unhoused person, which literally means the same thing.
Does indigent mean the same thing?
It's approximately the same thing. So no, that's more of a physical. Anyway,
go on.
So, and I saw that, and I said, I am thinking like a poor person.
Yeah.
And I realized at that moment, it was literally a moment that I vividly remember, poverty is a mindset, and it keeps you inside of the financial condition. And the only reason I had the opportunity to know that is because there had been some kind of teaching that was useful enough for me to have that realization, because you can't have knowledge that you don't have. You can't realize something unless you have a basis for understanding that. And so, and it took me years to kind of correct my habits and make better decisions and all this kind of stuff. But it was a moment of epiphany for me.
Do you remember when
I'm better than this?
Do you remember when we had Kevin Dolan on?
Yeah.
He
He totally disagrees with this point of view, though.
Well, not entirely, because he used the term poor thoughts equals...
Poor man has poor thoughts.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or poor man has poor ways.
The similar meme I've seen recently has been, if you just spend some time with poor people, you'll understand.
Yeah. Well, if you be one, from birth to 30 years old or whatever, then you understand it differently.
Yeah, the opportunity to get out of that cycle is, it's possible.
And I think I was probably, 25 or so when I really started to sort of reconfigure away from poverty. And it was probably 30 before I could say confidently that I've escaped it. But there is so much trauma that you experience as a poor person that it still haunts me today, that I'm terrified of, like something pushing me back into that place.
So talk more about that. I want to learn more about that. I want to hear more about that trauma piece that you're talking about, where it still haunts you.
So we tend to think our kids, when they're 2 years old or something, don't know what's going on, and the parents are dealing with all the problems. And that may be partially true. But one of the things that you don't realize is that they're bearing the weight and the stress at that time in the same way that the parents are. They just have to deal with it a different way because their understanding is
even
different.
More impotent.
But it's there. And so when I was 2, 3, 4 years old, I remember walking up to my mom, and I'd heard this story repeated to me times, so it kind of helped me to either remember or somehow fabricate this memory. But it's a real occurrence. I walked up to my mom and said, "Are we going to have some food today?" And then I remember that there was this one point in time where my dad had to do something, and he didn't have anyone to watch the kids. Mom was out selling Avon, trying to sling some, get some money. And so he goes to run this errand, and then leaves us alone at the apartment. A couple of my sisters ran around the house, goofing off. One of them falls over, busts her head wide open. Ooh. Older sister is the one that was chasing her, freaks out, runs outside screaming. And then the neighbors come in, police are called, ambulance, fire
Dad's
truck,
not
everything.
There.
No parents
there.
there.
Well, no parents there, yeah.
Kids without, like proper clothing on, and blood all over the place.
Yeah.
And we got taken away to the guardian's home.
Mm.
And when we got taken away, I was like, Mom, I don't want Dad to go to jail. And she, and I said, I don't want to go to jail. And she said, I don't want you to either. And didn't have much of an answer for me. But we went to jail as far as I knew anyway.
Yeah.
And so when all of us were taken away and separated and given different like temporary caretakers for a couple of days, my parents were trying to figure out how to solve the problem. And, they were being checked out for, are these kids being abused? Is there this neglect or that neglect happening? And then finally, when somebody came with my parents, picked us up, brought us home. At home, there was a fresh bunch of bananas at that perfect state of ripeness where it's where
soft but yellow.
Where I like them personally. People disagree, and I don't want to get in a fight about this. Is where the green is almost gone. There's no brown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's just a tip of green. It's got a little bit of a crispness to it, but it's also still starting to be sweet. And I absolutely love bananas because of that moment, and that
Being
sticks
home.
with me. So the way that trauma is experienced by everyone is in your mind, where you're rationalizing, this sucks, this thing is really hard, I'm having a hard time with this. And in your body, which is things that you don't always know how to communicate, or even that you don't even know that it's happening. And so you can have that manifest in, cortisol levels, losing sleep, fears that pop up at inexplicable times. And it's because you're relating to this traumatic experience that you had in the past that stuck with you, and especially in your formative years. So when I was growing and, developing, I was also experiencing these very hard things that didn't involve me dealing with the mail, but I saw the stack of mail that was never opened because it was too scary to open.
Yeah.
So
how have you made peace with that trauma today?
First of all, for the first few years of feeling like I was on the other side, I had a very traditional, conservative, negative view against the poor and against programs that help the poor.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I spent time over the course of years to try to understand, how does poverty happen? How do people escape poverty? And then how do you stay out of poverty? Because the chance of you going back into poverty is much higher.
So close.
There's a better chance of someone ending up poor if they were previously poor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the more that I've studied it over the course of the majority of my adult life, the more I find it inescapable that poverty is oppressive. It's not a choice. And most people cannot escape it no matter what.
Yeah.
And
It's a
so
circumstance.
I believe that it doesn't just take smarts, but smarts is not free. Smarts, being smart and tenacious and innovative and working hard, that can get you out of poverty if
Maybe.
you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, but you first have to be lucky to gain that intelligence. Because I see how my daughter does in school and how she excels in academics, and I have no idea where it came from because I have no academic records. So I have no idea if I could have been the same when I was a kid. So
Safe, fed, and loved does amazing things.
So what opportunities were provided for you, based on what you just said, what opportunities were provided for you to help you escape that?
Okay, so first of all, I was given a job I wasn't qualified for because a friend of a friend wanted basically to both help and exploit talent. Exploit.
Right.
I say exploit. I don't mean to
Take
you have to take off your
advantage of
shirt.
it positively.
Gain the benefits of someone who is going to work harder because they don't have that automatic guaranteed job, right?
So you weren't taking your clothes off.
No.
Okay.
No mouth stuff.
Well,
Well.
anyway, so I was given a job. I was lucky. I was, and it also took me decades to fully form a, what you might call as a healthy middle class lifestyle. It was really hard. And I see how easy it is for my kids by comparison, right? Because it doesn't matter what we did and didn't give them. What they got is they had a guaranteed place to live at all times.
This is normal to them.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's exceptional for most of the world.
If they don't know how to do something, like apply for college, for example, they can just ask. And they know exactly who to ask.
Well, and this is pre-internet. So it's not like today where you could just literally have this machine and
Now there's no excuse for being poor is what you're saying.
Oh, no, that's exactly what I'm saying.
What I mean to say is that there is a support system and a resource at all times. So even if we don't give them a dime, they have so much more stability, opportunity, exposure. I've connected my kids to people, and given them introductions because I've managed to develop a few connections myself over the years.
But see, that's I think that, so coming from a similar and not exact situation as you, it is so evident that the privilege that people talk about others having is connections. It is relationships.
Absolutely.
It is, it's not who you know. It's not what you know. It's who you know. And so you had someone literally from a class above you lift you out by giving you a chance to join them. And if you don't get that, you're stuck. It doesn't matter how smart you are and how tenacious.
As a matter of fact, you don't even have to be smart.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with that.
Oh, you absolutely don't have to be smart with a good network.
Correct. I don't think there are many examples, and I'm going to try to pull one out of thin air here in a moment, of individuals, I can name my father, that had no one to help, but did it on his own. It's called moxie, right? You find a way to make it happen. You don't have to have someone help you.
But you have to have the moxie to identify the person that's going to give you a chance at a job.
No, you don't.
Or pay you to do something.
No, you don't.
Or you start a business.
Thank you.
But
you create your own.
Or pay you to do something.
Yeah.
Or you create your own opportunity.
Yeah. I think
it's happened. It happens.
It does happen.
It's a lot harder.
I think that
oh my God.
And I think that that's
easy.
the myth that lets people kind of escape this conversation in the depth, not to disagree or be offensive.
You're totally cool. I don't think it's the easy way, and I don't think it's for everybody.
But it's not the I don't know the way to say it is. It sounds so like aspirationally. You've got to do this aspirational thing. You've got to overcome this hurdle, and then you'll do it. But the amount of intensity it takes.
The access.
Yeah, it's the long walk, man.
Oh yeah.
But I would also say that. Sorry to interrupt.
No, he raised his hand.
Just one thing to put on the point that you're making is that just imagine if 3 people go into an interview for a job or to start a business and they're trying to get a customer, or they're trying to get a vendor partner for their product that they're creating. It doesn't matter what it is. One of them is a hot blonde, and I'm talking about myself. And the other one, tall, straight teeth, excellent skin tone, everything.
Not me.
And then
you're out.
And then you've got Chris.
Yeah.
So just take that and apply that across the board. It's
Sure.
not easy for everyone. It's not, and I'm not just saying it's just
Sure.
looks. It's also lots of other things.
Sure.
It's charisma.
Do you have a pair of shoes to walk into that meeting?
You know,
with?
how many celebrities or athletes have we heard over the years that have said that, and I'm going to come full circle on the athlete piece of this in a second, but they've said they were overlooked or they came from a shitty background and they weren't given the opportunity, and it built a stronger inner fire within them. You've heard actors and actresses say this. You've heard athletes say it. You've heard business people say this. Rejection can go one of two ways. You can embrace it and try to do something with it, or you can accept it and just wallow in it, right? And so I get lost in this conversation a little bit because I think as an individual, regardless of circumstances, you have to want to find a way out. That's the first step. And if you can figure out that want, then the other pieces start to fall in play. And that's what I was trying to dig at with you, trying to figure out how you got there, because you must have had a want, right?
And I agree that you have to want it.
Yeah. Go
so
ahead.
Chris may know what I'm referring to. They recently read this metaphor of darts, entrepreneurism being much like a dartboard. And when you come from a good family with lots of connections and money and resources, you've got a lot of darts. And so you can eat shit your first few throws while you calibrate and figure out how to play darts. But if you're poor and you put everything into your business and you're trying to build something that's your own, on your own, all of that, and you eat shit, you're out of darts.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of people, much like medical debt, like it's crushing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a good
Such
point.
a
was-
good point.
Yeah, it is.
I would believe it was Eminem that said,
You get one shot.
"You get one
Spaghetti, he said.
Right.
He
Yeah,
rhymed
mom's
with
spaghetti.
spaghetti.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that what's interesting about that point, Aaron, is that the wanting it and the tenacity, I wanted it far sooner than I ever had a stable life.
Yeah.
I had only so many years to work with because everybody's going to die.
Yeah.
And the runway of building a successful, financially stable, healthy life is only 85 years or whatever, 87 years.
If you're very lucky.
statistically.
And the first 10 and last 5 don't count.
Yeah.
But oh crap. Not interrupting. Also, the raising the hand thing's not working, but not interrupting.
Yeah, we're
is
never
not
going to do
helping.
that, by the way.
Oh,
We'll get you there. We'll get there. I went back recently. I shared this with you two that had a really good. My childhood friend came into town that I grew up with, and we were catching up, and we were talking about some of our friends that I haven't seen in 40 years, easily 40 years, and the success that came out of this small little farming community of 12,500 people blows my freaking mind. I mean, it really does. No one came from upper middle class. Everyone was middle class or lower. And I'm referring to the friends, the families. Everyone had 3 or 4 siblings. Everyone had 3 bedrooms, maybe 2. Everyone had 1 bathroom. It wasn't a bathroom per bedroom. And we all kind of grew up that way. And I really am at a loss for words when I look around to see what everyone's doing and the amount of success they've all had. And if you would have asked me when we graduated how many would have that success, I would have maybe picked 1 or 2. And the 1 or 2 I picked haven't had it. It's all the others that have really gone on to astronomical things.
I wonder
Shit,
how.
one's got a private jet.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder
A PJ.
whether or not
Right.
it's the last generations
That's what-
of the American dream.
I'm curious because our parents, matter of fact,
They were Vietnam and World War II.
every one of our parents, they're all coming from married families that were still together. Married. I'm not trying to say that married makes them together, but they all came from loving,
Intact
caring,
families.
loving, caring families. And one of my friends shared on Facebook years ago. He reached out and he made a comment on Facebook about how my family was the sports family. That he got done with a baseball game and my mom picked him up to bring him over to another baseball game. And my dad was at that baseball game with me. And he said, yeah, the Salome family was the sports family. They made sure everyone got to where they needed to go. I share that example because it was a community that really looked out for one another. No one had a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, someone did, but most everyone just had enough, right? Everyone just kind of got by.
Yeah.
So I think about that a lot, Aaron. That keeps me up at night. I think about how the hell did we all do so well? And what was the secret sauce?
You got programmed.
Dude,
I mean,
right?
you have the community.
Yeah, right.
And it's not,
it makes you wonder though, right?
With poverty and the trauma that goes along with that, so much of your life is surviving. It is who can watch the kids. It's, how much food are we going to have? How much money to pay the bills? What bill are we not going to pay this month so we can pay the other one? And when you have a little bit more financial security, not a ton, then you can start breathing and building genuine relationships where you're giving and taking.
Yeah.
And when you're in poverty, all of your relationships
desperate.
are taking, and you give what you can. And it is not to demonize people, but you just don't have the emotional energy.
And you have people who don't have enough to give clumped together.
And I'm talking about giving emotions.
That's what I mean.
My mother is famous for saying that when my sister and I, so I must have been 4, she was 2.5. And she said at that time in their life, if someone would have just given them $1,000, it would have been life-changing. And I'm thinking, $1,000, life-changing.
Oh, yeah.
She said, you have no, they were living hand to mouth, week to week.
You mean a one-time $1,000?
Yeah, like a one-time $1,000 would
but
change her
1,000,
life.
yeah.
At that stage in their life, as a family dynamic with 2 children, she's pregnant. My mother's pregnant with her.
I've had $300 change my life,
Yeah,
so I can identify with that.
So when I hear that coming from my own family, it's like, wait, what? So I hear you.
So what do you think about guaranteed income? Like universal basic income is what one of the terms a lot of people use. Like Andrew Yang kind of promoted the idea when he was running for president.
I was a fan of the concept because how he was thinking about why we needed it was like, oh yeah, that's coming. And an unemployed male workforce is devastating.
Yeah. So are you for it, or do you have more thoughts on it?
I don't know how we're going to deal with the problem of most of us not having anything to contribute.
Yeah.
I think affordable living, I think some combination of affordable living and subsidy is the only option, because this is a big ship that I don't know how it would even pivot. I also think you get what you incentivize, and all the romantic notions of people will be free to work on art and they'll develop. No, they're going to get high and fuck. And so
just like during the pandemic,
which is the only reason I've been pro-abortion all of my life is because of what would happen if we had more people.
Yeah.
Just from a aggregate standpoint of, I understand. So we've got a problem that we've been trying to hold back, the automation in particular, it's been held back.
Yeah.
And so now we have,
what
are we going to do with everybody?
If you watch Tesla's earnings call yesterday, by the way,
robots are coming.
They're here.
And then nobody can claim that they wouldn't have owned slaves.
Yeah, right.
The robots are going to make that real clear.
He's saying that everyone will have one, like everyone has an iPhone or a phone. And that,
until they all turn on us.
Right.
And they're going
they
to,
won't
because we're assholes.
It'll be,
and we're programmed.
It'll be models. We'll get.
Right.
So please, haven't you watched any sci-fi Order 66?
Yeah, thank you.
It's never turned out well.
Ever.
I would say this, that for me, there's a couple of things that I wanted to ask. One was, I don't know how you feel. I feel this sense of bleak dread towards the future of society and our country in a way that I thought was cartoonish. But when I'm looking at the way that reality bends so much, and our understanding of current events by the algorithm, and the way that news is no longer real or objective, and sometimes you find nuggets of truth if you can find 5 news sources put together, and and then you're in a Sherlock Holmes novel trying to figure out what happened. And especially with deep fakes and all of that, like, we just don't know what's real anymore. Nationally, locally, we have no local news reporters keeping our folks accountable. So that combined with just the way that our country feels. I mean, we have areas in this country with masked law enforcement officials going into preschools, stopping cars, shooting American citizens, taking people. There was the one that's the Iraq War veteran that was held in an ICE detention center for, 3 days without a phone call, without any sort of due process. And he's an American citizen. We have these things in reality happening that we want to dismiss and ignore or justify because the folks are illegal. We have increasing powers given to the executive branch, not to get political, but I see this and I'm like, I have judged so harshly the people of Germany in the 30s and 40s, but the reality is, what do you actually do when these things are happening? And then the view of the future of, well, fuck, what's next? What do y'all think?
Well, I was going to say COVID proved that half of us would be Nazis at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
And like I said, robots are going to prove that everybody would own a slave if they could.
Yeah. Oh, do they come? Well,
Yeah. Stop.
Yeah, that's the first question every guy asks.
No, it does not.
Yes, it will.
Maybe, but not in the beginning.
And I bet it'll be fantastic.
Are you talking about a personality?
Yes, that's exactly what we're talking about. No,
I know.
I don't know, because I don't know what I didn't know back when I was only ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
What I believe is the more tuned in somebody is to their digital media, social or otherwise, the more miserable they are. Period. And I was going to say, I don't think I see a specific kind of mental illness among my most progressive friends. And I see it in I don't know a lot of right-leaning people. So my judgments, I don't have the same experience, but I imagine the MAGA mentality is very similar, just kind of off the rails a little bit. So my point is, I don't know if it's worse. I know that we're being told it's terrible if we don't do something, anything, doesn't matter what.
There's this guy called Nick Fuentes. You guys know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
And he has this huge following, and he's basically, I don't know what he is other than a cartoon character essentially, but he's basically a Nazi white supremacist. He's just absolutely crazy, and he has a huge following.
And
of
it's
people.
all adolescent boys.
Yep.
No.
Okay.
It's apparently huge. A friend of ours was talking about how his son just doesn't understand why everybody thinks it's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a following of like, yeah, this guy's got some good ideas, but like it's entertainment. It's like South Park.
I think that's what it is. I think the same is true with Trump. And this is where we were so betrayed by the media, and the left didn't know what to do, or the liberals didn't know what to do. Trump would say something outrageous, lock her up. No one actually thought he wanted to lock up Hillary. That's part of his group. They just didn't like her.
Oh,
and they
yeah.
knew
Nobody
that,
took
and
him
they
seriously.
knew that he was trolling the left.
Yeah.
Trump's entire career I think, was founded on trolling people.
Yeah.
And like the third term stuff that he's been saying, he doesn't want to run for a third term.
What's crazy is that he, I think a lot of people know that he's trolling, and yet he still gets headlines from the legacy media, the media that should know better.
By the way, I would argue this is most prevalent with those same people you were talking about earlier, trying to opt in on others' grievance.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting, especially when you can just adopt an identity to whatever you feel
Outrage
like,
is fun.
and then you can be outraged about this or about that.
Chris, if you want to feel good, I would argue.
Try meth.
I would argue.
God, no.
Get off all the news for a week. Get outside, enjoy nature,
Read a
and
book.
disconnect.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, it is the most amazing freaking feel. It's a high that's hard to replicate in any other way.
What
Alcohol,
a
drugs, or
privileged
otherwise.
suggestion.
It's not. It's simply stop watching and
I
turn it
don't
off.
like relaxing. It makes me feel like I'm missing something.
Yeah, see, this
No,
is,
And I-
but see, we're wired.
which is what's such great about the social
I will-
feed
yeah.
stuff. Like
that's
it is
we're wired.
more
We've
reliable.
been wired for it, right? And so I'm going to share this with you. I didn't even know about the frickin' UPS plane going down until the next day when my UPS driver
I'm
showed
just
up.
now learning about it.
And Rob said, "Did you see what happened?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You don't know." I have no idea what
You
the
don't
hell
have
you're
the
talking
same
about.
feed as me?
I don't watch the news. I really don't tune into it.
Yeah.
I really stay away from it as much as I can. The only time I tune into it is when someone says, "Oh my God, did you hear or did you
Right.
see?" And
when they're bringing that
Yes.
disease back
Yes.
to you.
so if you
Did
go
you,
on,
did you catch my cold?
yeah, right. So if you go on to, if you log on my Instagram account, you're going to see the feeds that I get. They're cats and dogs. They're feel goods. There's sports. That's it. That's it.
I would say I get Lego news. Star Trek Lego set
There
just
you
dropped.
go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
See?
Star Trek Lego news. I love paranormal conspiracy theories.
Interesting.
We didn't go to
Yeah.
the moon
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Okay, so I kind of dig that.
Do you know a Brian who he and his partner run a nonprofit out of New Mexico? Tall,
Jesus
dark-haired
fucking-
guy.
Wow.
What?
Because he's also a huge Lego enthusiast. They've been very involved with Pride leadership over the years. I know
Wait,
you
they
guys.
live
yeah,
here?
I know. Yeah, they live in Indianapolis.
What's the last name?
I don't know, but I'll find out
wait.
because there's no
I
way
think
the
I
two
might
of you
know him.
couldn't have crossed paths.
Brian, who's from New Mexico? Like
he
what-
does yoga over in Irvington
Hmm.
in the mornings. I'll find out.
Brian, who does yoga and
So he's
My-
big on the custom Lego stuff.
I want to go
too.
back to what I was saying though.
Yeah, sorry.
It's
I got
all right.
excited.
I know. I
about
can tell.
Legos.
Legos, Mark.
That's why we have to do editing of this podcast.
No
Oh,
way,
it's-
dude. You want to go back to the moon stuff?
No,
We
I want to
didn't
go
the
back
moon?
to just getting outside, just
Yeah.
going for a walk, just
I walk every
just
day.
like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean the
I'm
mindfulness.
watching TikTok the whole time.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
The
an
mindful-
excitement from the
the
anxiety.
mindfulness of being present in the moment, hearing the birds, seeing the sun, looking at the clouds, seeing the trees blow. Just when and if you can get there, you find peace.
Yeah.
You really do.
Yeah.
Because all the shit that's going on, this is not new. This is the same shit that's been going on for the last 40, 50, 60, 80 years. The players are new, but it's the same crap. This is not new stuff. We have access to it way more than we did 20 years ago. 10 years
Manipulating
ago.
public opinion.
Well, for sure.
We didn't either
For
stop
sure.
or start doing that
No.
recently.
So,
no.
Michael, when you get away from the news, which you've apparently done successfully enough to miss the top headlines,
Which makes him better than us.
No,
Right.
it does not.
In so many ways.
No, it does not.
He's like, that's
I
not what
think
makes
that
me
we-
better than you.
I don't think it
so
does.
what do you think about when your mind's totally clear?
For
Oh,
real.
dude.
Where's my phone?
You- what- yeah. I find myself getting closer to Lori, my wife. I find myself cherishing my friendships, like the moments that I get a text or a phone call. And I know that's tech, but I'm not. I just feel more centered. I literally feel more centered. I feel more at peace. And if
Less
you,
anxious.
yeah, if Lori was here right now, she would 100% sit down and say, "Oh yeah, I know when he's disconnected because he's more present with me than he is without."
Yeah.
And it's huge.
I get
I
that.
feel it. I absolutely feel it.
I have to do that because my boys are getting to that on the way out. Like I've spent more than half the time I'm going to spend with them in their life kind of thing.
Yeah.
And making myself literally put the phone in a different room, turn it off, whatever, and just grind raw dog my family
Yeah.
for an
Yeah.
hour
Yeah.
or two a
Right.
day.
Right.
Because there's no way later I'm going to look back and go, I spent too much time with them.
Right.
Yeah, of course. Right.
Yeah. And I don't know if there's an easy answer for what you're asking, by the
So
way.
I can't
Daniel.
do that and that. is my point.
No. Well, you've got to be present for
Yeah.
your kids.
I've
For
tried
your wife.
and
Yeah.
it's obvious to
Yeah.
them. And what I'm telling them is you're not as interesting as my phone.
Yeah. And when I don't know, by the way, I feel like the oddball. Like, how do you not know this?
Yeah.
I don't know it because I'm choosing not to want
Yeah,
to know.
because everybody in society expects you to know about the latest, viral meme.
Well, but
or
I would argue
whatever.
they don't. It's a small subset of people who are very worried about what they just heard.
Yeah, but
'Cause
I think
most
our
of the-
I think our circles are pretty similar, though.
It's a luxury activity
I agree
to
with
have
that.
the free time
I
to
agree with
scroll and perseverate and look into stuff. It's not everybody,
Right. No, I agree with that.
but
Well,
but I
think
agree that a
think
certain demographic.
there is an overwhelming percentage of the population that has a smartphone or some kind of computer, but most likely a smartphone first.
Good Lord, the people panhandling on the street corner by my office
Exactly.
have smartphones.
And so everybody's, echo chamber is different, but there is, the trends of things that are, moving around the internet and being, the views and things that are being shared. And I think that there's more people that are scrolling than aren't. I would guess.
I had to do a self,
but not necessarily the media, the contemporary political media stuff is what I meant. That's a subset.
Their chamber might be different.
Yeah,
but,
they might have cats or feet pics or whatever.
Right.
But is
Just
that
as
a
an
sort of
example.
chamber too?
I don't have feet pics. I'm wired.
You want some?
No, I'm wired differently in that I am hyper competitive.
Mm-hmm.
So that earlier question you posed out about salary, I would not be for that because I'm not wired that way. Just as, and this is a bad piece of being wired this way. If I go on LinkedIn and I see competition, boasting, or adulation for whatever's going on in their
Do you
business,
report them?
no, I get amped up. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the hell's going on? What did I miss? I should be doing it.
Right.
And
Sports does that to a person.
it
That's
does.
Why I want,
it does.
Yeah.
And so I've had to pull myself away from all that. I mean, really, to this day, if the LinkedIn comes across my phone and I see a competitor or someone I know in my industry that's boasting about something, I'm like, motherfucker, what are we doing
That's a
wrong?
good use
Yeah.
of it
I don't like that.
as an instigator.
Yeah, and
I like that.
that keeps me up at night, by the way. If I
Anger's
see that in the
powerful.
day, I'll lay down at night and I'll think through that shit for hours and I won't even sleep just thinking through, what did I miss? How did they get that? Why didn't we get that? What are we doing wrong? Why are we not moving in that direction?
But when I asked my question about what you think about earlier, I was thinking more of like, what is that kind of thought that you have that is not fed by some kind of media?
Yeah.
Like what keeps you up at night? You told me about the positive stuff,
Right.
but what keeps you up at night when you're not on, when you're somehow successfully able to not see the internet?
I'm not up at night. I actually sleep.
I was going
for
to
a
say
solid,
what would be.
I get up once to go to the bathroom. I sleep for 7 or 8 hours. And I look at my
Just
stupid,
once?
and I look at my sleep score, and I score a ridiculous number.
Do you
I'm
guys
like, wow.
have things that so you're looking at your sleep score? You're over focused on your optimization.
I told you I'm highly competitive.
but
I'm competing against myself.
Go on, Daniel.
but do you guys do you think are there? I don't know how to describe them, but are there like existential thoughts that weigh on you? Not necessarily weigh on you as in bad, but like you care about understanding it and you're processing it and things like that.
Absolutely.
Like, what is it for you, Chris?
Well, I would say that my entire life I have been preoccupied with the big question. What are we doing here? What is this? What is actually the purpose? It is not to, the best we can come up with is loving people and
Our
loving
brothers.
and being loved.
Our brother's keeper.
Right.
Well,
And all of that.
You should write a book about it.
Right.
And you don't,
Everybody's written a fucking book about
and
it.
you don't buy into that.
I don't buy into it because I love you and I let you love me and we both die.
Well, we all
Yeah.
die.
But that's the point is how can the entire experience and consciousness that we've all had just disappear? I don't believe that it does.
It doesn't.
But I also don't believe in like heaven and like, and anytime anyone speaks with certainty about these things, I get incredibly frustrated.
So hold on though. So I think you just said two things here. You don't believe in heaven,
No.
but you do believe.
In a lasting consciousness or
Yes.
something.
I
Did I
believe
hear
that,
that right?
That there's something beyond.
I believe that right now we are the drop. When we die, we become the ocean.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. The energy goes to something.
Mm-hmm.
We're not just composed.
And so, and that our existence here is so that we can use our big conscious brains to understand ourselves and understand that what is this universe? What is this reality? All of those things have always preoccupied me. That's especially amped up this year. I am the same age my mom was when she died, 46. And so there's been a lot of things like leading up to what that feels like. And it is very strange. And it is a unique experience that I'm having in my peer group where I've always been the person whose mom died when he was 26 and my dad died 5 years later. And I've always been that melancholy person. And so now I'm at the age where people are starting to lose their parents. And I always looked at it as like, maybe the purpose behind that was I could be there for them when they started that.
Yeah.
And now that it's happening, I'm like, fucking get over it, man. You had 20 years more than I did.
Yeah. A little bit of resentment.
Life is hard.
And what do you see when you look at your children for the first time in a given day, whether it's morning or evening or coming home from
fucking
work?
back to bed. I'm kidding. No.
Yeah. What do you see there?
I would say that everything, I adore them. I love them. I try my best to be a good father and be patient and teach them and all that.
Oh God, can you please pick up your shoes?
I know. I would say everything is through the lens of I can't die. I cannot die right now.
I can't afford to die.
No, I can afford to die.
But that's
I've got
what-
so much
so
life
that's-
insurance.
Yeah, I
to
was
take care
going
of
to
my
say
kids.
my issue
you're
is I
actually
can't
worth
die
more.
yet.
I'm
Still
worth
alive.
so much more
That's
dead.
the first thing you see when you see your children in the morning.
It is
can't
in
die?
The mortality.
the more time that I spend with them, whenever we have a sweet moment.
No, I'm saying the very first time
Oh.
you see your children in the day. It could be morning
I
or evening.
smile and say, "Hey."
But I'm asking, what's that thought? I know. Is it I can't die, or is it?
No, I was more relating to like the sweet experiences of like you're cuddling on the couch,
Got it.
and you're having those like warm moments of, God, it's gonna be so hard when I die. Like everything is through that lens of I can't die right now. I can't. My daughter is going through so much grief because her best friend and her best friend's grandma died a month ago, and it was so horrible. And she's ADHD, probably a little autistic, and it's been a rough time in our house. And she's been really leaning on me. And then all I'm thinking about is, fuck, if I can't drive to here on rush hour because what if I get into a car accident?
Right.
I'm
Okay,
not like
so-
these are the thoughts that
I don't think I'm asking my question right.
maybe I'm not understanding.
I got an answer for you.
The question I'm asking is when I wake up in the morning, and I say because I don't have children, but if I see Lori,
Or the cat or whatever.
cat too, when I see Lori, there's a thought that crosses my mind, and it has nothing to do with any of what we're talking about right now. We can get to me later. But if I have a nephew or a niece that spends the night and I see them in the morning, there's a thought that just comes to me, and it has nothing to do with what we're talking about. And that's what I'm asking.
What is it?
Well, we'll get back to me. I'm curious.
I
about
don't
that.
know.
If you may not have anything.
I don't have
because you've
anything
got
that's-
so much shit going on that it's hard to have that thought.
Yeah.
Right. But you have an answer.
No, I know what that thought is. I am just marveling at this human becoming and terrified of ruining it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So there's this
Yeah.
immediate
Yeah.
draw and then this break
Yeah.
that it's like
Yeah.
probably the best I can do is keep my distance, be here, engage, but not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
I don't feel like I have that kind of thought, or that I ever did. I'm always thinking of the big questions, like
How's my hair?
Are my jeans tight enough?
Do they like my hair?
Do you think my teeth are starting to get a little bit more yellow?
The tough stuff.
Oh gosh.
And what is truth? But I don't have that kind of a thought like the moment that I see my kids, which they're grown now, or the moment that I see my wife. I recognize the romance of if I had an answer to it.
And I'm not looking for romance. I don't think it is romance.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking the question. that's
why
Hollywood.
I'm incredibly curious what your answer
That's
is.
Hollywood. When I see Lori in the morning, my first thought is she going to be okay today? And I don't mean from an overall perspective. I'm talking about similar to
Specific
Carrie
health
with an
stuff.
autoimmune. Is she going to have a good day or bad day today?
Yeah.
And that's my first thought.
Right.
And am I going to be good with this today?
I promise you, every married man has that thought.
Yeah. Okay, I have that thought.
Is today going to be a
No.
good day?
Do you
with
My
you?
husband
Give
has
me
that thought.
permission to hang out with the boys.
Right. That's
Are
not,
we
you
going
know
to
where
have
I'm
a
going.
good day or not?
Yeah, that's.
Mama
I
ain't
know those
happy,
thoughts
ain't nobody
too.
happy.
I know those thoughts, but this is more about someone who
Caring
Concern
for
for
her.
her.
yeah, who struggled. And then the second thought I have is, am I going to be better today with this than I was yesterday? Or am I going to be an asshole? Or am I going to be selfish? Or am I going to be, oh, come on, just get over it. Right.
Yeah.
So there's that whole other piece to it that I reflect on it. And then I truly pray on it and just, give me the peace and wisdom and strength to deal with whatever's coming today. So that's why I was curious, because I would imagine there's got to be something similar like that with children. And you said it, Chris, about your daughter.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you were saying, that she's going through.
She's going through a hard time.
Yeah, man, that's not easy.
I mean, she is super bouncy when she's upset.
Yeah.
And she's nervous and she's anxious
Yeah.
and she's like the ADHD kid. And so she got up at 3:30 this morning with a cough. And I didn't get back to sleep.
Yeah.
And then I laid back down. My husband went to the gym at 5. And then I got up and started making breakfast for everybody.
You could have got on our group text at 4:30 this morning.
I was up.
Us.
Yeah.
And started making breakfast, and then she's bouncing around and she always tries to instigate me into a fight, so that she tries to be yelled at. Her normal is people yelling at her because of her foster care upbringing.
That's her communication skill.
It is, and it makes her feel good because she gets that dopamine hit. So I just rubbed her shoulders and gave her a hug, and I'm like, "What's up, babe?" And she's like, when I act like this, I'm trying to pretend to be happy when I'm really not.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's sort of like an insightful thing to
Perfect.
say.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know, baby. We all know, baby.
And I'm pretending you're happy. Come
Right.
here.
And I'm like, so yeah, I think that's life.
Yeah, it is. That is
The bigger questions of why we're here. And that's why I like the conspiracy theories, the paranormal stuff so much, because I think that gives us more insight than the vicious cycle of
And it's all pretty bonkers when you get into it.
Would you be disappointed if you found out in the after of all this that we're just here for each other? Would that disappoint you?
Boring.
I know. I'm asking. Would it disappoint
it
you?
would be
Sounds like loser talk.
well, I mean, what am I doing when I find that information? Am I in another plane of existence? Are we just leveling up?
It's
No,
the epiphany.
Infinite
It's
staircase?
the epiphany as your
It's
spark
actually
dies
the
out.
Mormon fifth level of heaven or something.
Yeah, just a
the celestial kingdom.
Yeah.
Sure, go with that if you want.
It's a big one.
But I guess if you could
Sounds
consciously
nice.
think in the afterlife, would you be like, shit, that's all it was? Or,
Oh, I think most of my life I'm gonna look back and say, God, I missed the whole fucking point.
I think we're all going to say that.
Right.
I think we're all going to
but
say
what
that.
if you woke up or arrived in this new state of existence and
The Unitarians
and
are
you
right.
had just enough awareness to find out that it turns out everything you expected did not exist. What if you found out there is no heaven,
Right.
there is no hell,
Right.
there is no God, there is no afterlife, but we're going to let you be conscious just long enough to realize that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel then? How do you
I
feel
don't
now
know.
thinking about it?
I don't know. I don't like that.
Let me add a layer to that. We find out souls are real. They are persistent, and not everybody gets one.
Yeah.
All right.
I think I would laugh.
Let me ask.
I mean, come on, that's hilarious. That's the greatest joke of all time.
Yeah.
It's the biggest sham.
Groundhog
Yeah.
Day.
Like-
Yeah.
All right, let me ask-
should have.
Let me ask this question,
I
and then we can
should've-
wrap up the podcast.
Yeah.
It's totally off kilter, but if there is a God, and you're in front of God's presence, and you're allowed to ask one question, or ask one thing of God,
Mhm.
Like
You're
a
not-
wish?
No, not a wish. You
Oh.
can ask anything. No, you're dead.
Oh.
You're in front of God.
But it
An
has
answer.
to be formed as a question, Jeopardy
and,
style.
and by the way, he's passing over the fact that you're both blind, deaf, and dumbstruck as a result of being in
no,
God's
no,
presence.
no, no. I'm just saying that you're in. I am asking if you can put yourself in that situation. That if you're in front of God, whatever that means to you as an individual, what would be the one thing that you would want to ask?
Are you open to some notes, Your Majesty?
Would that be your question, seriously, or your thought? Is that what you would ask?
I mean, C plus. That's
Okay,
it's more of a statement than a question.
all right. So I got C plus. Is that what you're going?
No, that's not what I'm going. I don't know. I don't know.
I'll give you mine.
Yeah, please.
If that helps,
Yeah.
because I've thought about. I lay in bed and I think about this. Mine would
How much
be.
time do you spend in bed?
Oh, well, I go to bed.
He's not looking at his phone. By the
I go
way,
to bed
that's
at-
hours a day that his brain is working on other stuff besides media.
I go
That's
to bed
my
at,
point about it.
I go to bed at 9:30, read for a half hour, 45 minutes, and then I usually wake up at 4 or 5.
Nice.
As I've thought through this, my question would be, did I get it right?
Mhm.
That's what I would ask.
Mine similar.
He's about to tell you, by the way, in that situation.
The
Yeah, I
answer is
know.
no. Mine was, what was I supposed to do?
Yeah, I like that. I've
But
thought
it's,
about that.
but to your question, it's not am I right or not. It's
Right.
what was I supposed to
Yeah.
do, and was I close?
Yeah, yeah.
Did I even have a scent
I think you
of
can.
what?
I think we can put those two together, right? Yeah, I like that. That's really good.
Did
You
I
wanna
do
go?
what I was supposed to do?
Well, I
Because again, this assumes a God, and this
Right,
assumes
right.
a theology
And it
of
assumes a purpose.
provenance
Right,
and
right.
all that.
I gave you my real answer, but I'll give you.
I have no-
Yeah, you ready for some
But
notes?
even if I was
And
faced
God
with
would
God,
laugh.
even if I was faced with
Yes.
God, I would also make that same joke. I would say I was really serious, but let me, I know what you're trying to ask. You need to ask God.
No, he's not asking. You have the ability to ask.
And I think he knows that.
Okay. I'm glad you think he knows.
It all
that. Go
falls
on.
apart
You
if
know
he
what?
doesn't.
I
I
do.
would
I
say,
got it.
All right,
I would
hold
say,
on.
which me did you like better? Which me did you like better? The jackass that believed in you, or the really kind-hearted guy that didn't?
All the above.
I think the first thing you drop is the me. Once we're outside of this
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I would. agree
almost
with that.
everything I think of as me and I isn't
It goes right out the
part
window.
of it, and it's not mine.
Right.
First of all,
Yeah, the illusion of the self. That's
But I
It's
lo-
important,
that's
but
a big
not real.
question.
I like the question though.
Yeah,
Where I was versus where I am.
yeah,
Right. And that is a form of did I get it right?
Did I get it right?
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, how was the OA supposed to end? It's
Oh
a
my
show.
God, I missed that series.
Oh, that show
I know,
was
they
so,
left it hanging.
so much.
I feel that way about the Peripheral.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, because
Amazon,
Yeah,
best
I've wa-
sci-fi
yeah,
of the last.
Oh wait,
decade.
is that
Yeah.
which one was?
Chloe Moretz?
Yes, I've not watched it all. but I
Yeah,
have
that was
watched
the
it.
video games, virtual reality, maybe.
No,
no. Well,
no.
yeah, in like the first episode.
Yeah.
But it ended up being a future past.
The OA
connection
was.
thing.
If I-
love-
OA
that
was
I
such a
played
good
the
series.
billion-dollar lotteries when they go that high, just so that I can fund the completion of that series.
Man, I loved it.
If I won the lottery, that's the one thing that I really, really wanted to do.
It was so good. So good.
okay, I gotta ask you guys a question to wrap up.
Okay.
So, since we've accomplished an amazing amount on
Of
this
nothingness.
podcast, what are you gonna do differently this week, Aaron, because of this conversation?
Oh, great question. Dun, dun, dun,
I'm going to continue to try to not talk because everybody likes me more when I don't, and things go better.
We like the hand raising thing, so keep doing that. Michael, what are you gonna do differently this week?
I'm going to continue on the path I'm on and really think more about how we can structure our podcast to bring more vulnerability to our discussions. And I think we did a really good job of that today, by the way. I really do. Maybe a little off kilter, but we got there.
I think I really appreciated your saying, "Get off your phone." Not to me, but I took
Pointing at Michael.
pointing. Oh yes, thank you, dear listener.
The one.
The one. So I think that I'm gonna do that more.
Call me. I'll go for a walk with you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Seriously, I will.
Think of your phone as a pack of cigarettes. Of course you want it.
Oh God, I smoked for years.
Yeah, 20 years. I think about it every day still.
Me too.
I think I'm going to think about how the things that I'm interested in can be more useful to the world around me, so I can offer something better to people.
And on that note, I will say, Daniel, you do offer something better for all of us, known in a weekly piece that you put out, the Lorem Ipsum.
We talking about the email?
It was awesome again today. It really was. So thank you for that. I love that.
Thanks for always being my advertiser.